How's it going, Blazers? Working to bring you specifications you can relate to so you can have an educated decision on your purchases. This is going to be one from Kaviso.com, Kaviso.com. So they've kind of, at least for me, they've come out of just nowhere. I mean, they've been around for a while from what I can see, but I didn't know about them before. And then they picked up drop.com. They have all these other brands. They do free shipping. So they sent this along. So thank you to them for sending it along to the group. Now this one is going to be a Bestech Bandit. This is an exclusive through them. They're now had it OEM'd or built by Bestech for them on it from everything that I see on this. So this one basically is they took over the drop.com contract, so they had a lot of different models, and again I said free shipping on it, but trying a different format, so let me know how it looks like and let me know how things go as far as how things flow, but basically for this is going to be how it looks in your pocket, so you can see that for yourself. So it carries very deep in pocket, which is very nice. And then basically how it cuts, so this is going to be basically a little bit of receipt paper. So decently, not super smooth, but it is a pass around, so we didn't go in, we didn't sharpen it or anything like that, but it still cuts decently well. That's where now we're going to be looking at this one. This one has a different steel as well, so normally everybody's kind of done with D2 in a sense. This one has N690 for the blade steel. So one thing that I start with is a tip angle. So basically for this one, since this has a Tonto blade shape, is a little bit different, but it's kind of not a pointy Tonto, it's kind of rounded off, but basically the blade shape on it, this one has two tips to it. So basically it has a 10-degree angle and then it has a 40-degree angle for that main tip. So it depends on what type of work you're doing. Now that will be the difference between how you're going to be holding it and then basically that comfort level when you're going to be doing that type of work on a regular basis. This one has a flipper tab. It goes about 2 pounds, 9.7 ounces to that deployment. It is extremely smooth, open and close. That is one thing that's really nice about this one. One thing that was really surprising out of the box as far as how smooth this action is for this knife. It has a lot of different methods of employment, not a whole lot, but it does have a few. So as you saw that I was doing earlier, the light switch has a kind of a lighter type of method for it. Pinch and roll, so you can do that, but it is kind of hard to get to the opening. But you do pinch and roll. You can also do a traditional opening style, but that's just about it. And I mean, I don't think it has no inertia for it either. So that's what you have for that. Weight-wise, it's going to be 2.7 ounces. So for this channel, weight-wise, that's going to be 13 quarters and 1 penny. So that's what it's going to be for that. So if you know what that is, then you can actually add that to your knife. Like if you have a bug out, 1.9 ounces, add a few coins to that to get it up to the mark that you want to feel in hand, because numbers are something, but getting in hand is a little bit different. So that's 0.2 ounces, that's 0.1 ounces. So do the math on that as far as where you want to take it. But that is going to be what it is for that weight. For this knife, 2.7, 13 quarters, 1 penny. $48 for this knife. Very good price point for it. Good size. Is going to be that under that 3-inch mark. So if you're going to have something that is legally you're not able to carry over 3, here we go. This one is going to be one that is 2.8 inches. Cutting length also is going to be 2.8 inches. So basically, since this one is going to have that Tonto blade shape, this whole length is going to be also 2.8 inches, so you don't lose any cutting length for this knife. And then it is going to have a primary grind. Since it has 2 different areas, this is going to be about 8 degrees for this grind, and then probably about a 14 on the tip area. So it's going to be a very strong tip area, but this is going to be about 8 and 14. So not the best slicing material for that, because you're going to be kind of wedging a little bit more for that type of degree of angle. It is the flat grind on this knife. Secondary angle on it is going to be, it wasn't totally uniform, so it's going to be a 20 and a 24 degree, and there's 17 thousandths behind the edge, roughly about 5 sheets of paper for it. Blade stock thickness is going to be 3 millimeters this way, about 118 thousandths, and that is going to be a degree of ramp. Also, if you're not aware of that term, basically that's what I coined it at, but basically from when you disengage to when that detent ball is on the blade, that's going to be 28 degrees. Really, 20 degrees is really good, 30 degrees is okay. Now 40 degrees and above, that's a little high, but the plus of that is it does get onto that blade before you can get your thumb out of the way, which is a good thing because some knives will hit your thumb and then not be totally on the blade and it'll pop back up. This one, you don't have a problem with that, so operates very well, even though it's a little bit higher on that degree of ramp. N690, as I said, for the blade steel for this knife, denotes right here in this area, N690. They say on their site that it has a higher edge retention than D2, which is not necessarily 100% accurate for that. So Knife Steel Nerds, for them, they do about a 4.5 for edge retention and an 8 for corrosion resistance and a 3.5 roughly for the toughness of the blade as far as impact resistance. So for D2, let me look it up real quick. So D2, according to their testing, was about a 5 on edge retention. So I guess it's not that far off. So you get some better things with the blade steel over the D2 blade steel. And then you do have the corrosion resistance, which makes it a nice thing as well. So you don't get that with D2. D2 is a 4.5 for corrosion, and this is going to be an 8 for corrosion, and then it's a 3.5. So really, it's a stainless steel, but you're getting maybe a 0.5 less on edge retention. So that's going to be what you can get for N690. Again, from Knife Steel Nerds testing, they have a specific testing that they're doing, and then they're doing Catra and everything else. But that's what we're going to have for this performance for this knife, for that edge steel. This one has only one carry. It's going to be a right hand tip up for that carry. It is extremely deep carry for it, which is very nice, as you saw right at the beginning. But these corners can be uncomfortable in either deployment or use. I guess depends on what hand you're using. This one has the pocket clip retention is fairly low. This is about 12.1 ounces. So as far as how much it takes to actually take it out of the pocket, so the restriction that this clip gives, no, the knife is not 12.1 ounces. I hear that every now and then. So yes, the knife is 2.7 ounces, but in adding the tension on it, actually pulling it out of the pocket, it has a resistance at its highest point of 12.1. 2 is normally a good rating for for pocket clip retention, at least from my experience and my preference on that. Handle length is going to be 3.76, and then it's going to be a blade handle width of 0.51. So much thinner than a Snicker. Snicker bar is going to be about 0.7 inches. And then, I guess, do you agree with that as far as my initial assessment on this, as far as it being a buy? And as I'm going back to the clip, this is going to be where it is in use, right-handed, when you're really bearing down it and you feel that clip a lot, and then also left-handed. So left-handed, if you're going to be deploying it, you can feel it in your palm, but then when you go to use it, you don't feel it. So that is something that's a trade-off. On this side, lefties actually get a better part of the deal for that. But we'll look at some of the size comparisons for this knife. So we're going to have that one there. You're going to have your bug out as far as the size on that. Rat number 2. You can have the Para 3. Then my current favorite for budget knife of the year is going to be this one here. This is going to be the Buck Highline, and that's acting funny. So that's the Buck Highline, and then you have the Orion Solaris. It's going to be a stand-in until the Scorpio comes out in probably July. But that isn't what I have for that. Let me know as far as the format goes. If you made it all the way to the end, congratulations and thank you. But that is about all I have to say about that one today.